My fiancé's parents forced a prenup, snarling, "This is James's empire, you'll get nothing." But my $25.00 inheritance and divorce papers turned their world upside down. Who's winning now? The phone call came at 2 a.m., the kind of hour that screams trouble. My apartment in Austin was dark, save for the glow of my laptop, where I was untangling a network breach for quantum tech, my cybersecurity job that paid the bills and kept my adrenaline pumping. The screen flashed James Carter's name, my fiancé, the man who'd swept me off my feet with handwritten letters and Napa Valley getaways. My heart skipped. James never called this late unless it was urgent. "Sophie," he said, his voice tight. "My parents need us at the estate tomorrow. It's about the wedding." I pressed him for details, but he was vague, almost nervous. "Just be there, okay? 10 a.m. I hung up, my gut twisting. 3 weeks before our wedding, and now a cryptic summons to the Carter estate? I tried to focus on my code, but the lines blurred, my mind racing with possibilities, none of them good. I'm Sophie Martin, 30, a cybersecurity analyst who clawed her way from a modest Boise upbringing to a high-stakes career in Austin, Texas. My parents, a mechanic and a librarian, raised me in a 2-bedroom ranch house where love was plenty but money was tight. They taught me to value grit over gold, integrity over status. Those lessons carried me through a computer science degree and into quantum tech, where I secured corporate networks against hackers who'd love to see a company like Zenith Corp, my biggest client, crash and burn. But nothing prepared me for the storm that was James Carter's family. I met James at a tech conference in San Francisco, his easy smile cutting through the crowd of suits like a beacon. He was a venture capitalist from old Dallas money, but you wouldn't know it from his faded jeans and quick wit. Our first date at a rooftop bar in Austin stretched into the night, his stories of startup dreams and childhood pranks making me laugh until my sides ached. He seemed so grounded, shrugging off his wealth with a casual, "It's just money, Sophie. You're what matters." His romance was straight out of a movie. Surprise trips to Napa vineyards, handwritten notes slipped into my bag, a penthouse with floor-to-ceiling windows that made my tiny apartment feel like a closet. But there were cracks. He always paid for everything, waving off my offers to split the bill with a charming, "You're saving the world from hackers. Let me handle this." At first it felt gallant, but over time it was like he was reminding me of the chasm between our worlds. Then came the Maldives. James booked a 2-week trip without asking, assuming I could drop my Zenith project, a $10 million 0-cents contract that could make or break my career. "I cleared it with your boss," he said, grinning like he'd done me a favor. I was floored. "James, I can't just leave, and I can't afford this." He brushed it off. "It's my treat, Sophie. You deserve it." His confidence was intoxicating, but it stung. My independence was slipping, and he didn't even notice. His friends were another wake-up call. At a yacht party on Lake Travis, his hedge fund buddies and socialite girlfriends smirked at my tech nerd job. A woman named Vanessa, dripping in diamonds, asked, "So, you, fix computers?" I explained cybersecurity, but her eyes glazed over, and James just sipped his bourbon, silent. Later, I called him out. "They treated me like a curiosity." He shrugged. "They're just not used to someone like you. Give them time. Someone like me." The words lingered, a warning I didn't heed. When he proposed, it was magic. A private helicopter ride over Austin at sunset, the city lights twinkling below, a 4-carat emerald ring catching the fading sun. "Marry me, Sophie," he said, his voice soft but certain. I hesitated, sensing the weight of our different worlds, but love won. "Yes," I whispered, the ring heavy on my finger, a symbol of both his devotion and the life I was stepping into. The Carter estate in Dallas was a different planet. Marble columns framed a mansion that sprawled across 5 acres, complete with a private lake and a staff that moved like ghosts. I'd driven up with James, my palms sweaty against the steering wheel of my beat-up Honda, feeling like an imposter. Inside, Victoria Carter, a former socialite with a razor-sharp smile, greeted me with, "So, you're the cybersecurity girl." Her tone turned my career into a quaint hobby. Richard, James's father, a real estate tycoon with eyes like a hawk, grilled me on my limited financial prospects over dinner, served on china that probably cost more than my car. James, usually my anchor, morphed into a polished version of himself, nodding at his parents' every word, his warmth replaced by formal deference. Victoria gave me a tour of the mansion, her heels clicking on marble floors as she pointed out heirlooms, a gilded clock from the 1700s, a Monet in the library. "These stay with the Carters," she said, her eyes locking onto mine, a clear message. "You're not one of us." When I offered to help clear dishes, she laughed. "Our staff knows how we do things." I felt 2 inches tall, an outsider in their polished world. In the car, I let it out. "Your mother hates me, James." He sighed, eyes on the road. "She's just traditional. They've got this vision of my life, private schools, society weddings. But I choose you, Sophie." His words were a lifeline, but doubt gnawed at me. Was I enough for him, or was I a rebellion against their plan? Wedding planning was a battlefield. Victoria took over, picking a Dallas country club, a designer gown I'd never have chosen, and a guest list heavy with her cronies. My suggestions, a smaller venue, a playlist with my favorite indie bands, were dismissed. "This is a Carter wedding," she said, her smile tight. James brushed it off. "She's intense, but she'll warm up." I wanted to believe him, but every interaction with Victoria felt like a test I was failing. Then came the first scare. A week before the Prenup bombshell, I was driving to a quantum tech meeting on a Dallas highway when my brakes failed. My heart pounded as I swerved, narrowly avoiding a semi, my car screeching to a stop on the shoulder. Mechanics later found the brake lines cut. Deliberate, clean slices. The police called it a fluke, maybe vandalism, but my gut screamed otherwise. Was it a random act or something tied to James's world? I didn't tell him, not wanting to seem paranoid, but the fear lingered. The summons to the Carter estate came 3 weeks before the wedding. James was cagey on the phone, his usual charm replaced by a formality that chilled me. "It's about wedding details," he said, but his voice betrayed him. I'd barely slept, my mind ping-ponging between Zenith's looming deadline, a security patch that could save or sink a $10 million 0-cents contract, and the growing sense that the Carters were about to pull the rug out. The next morning, I drove to Dallas, my Honda dwarfed by the estate's iron gates. Richard's office was a fortress of oak and leather, a massive desk between us like a moat. Victoria perched in an armchair, her designer dress immaculate, her smile cold. James sat beside me, his hands fidgeting, avoiding my eyes. Richard slid a thick document across the desk. "This is a standard prenuptial agreement," he said, his tone clipped. "It protects the Carter family assets, James's penthouse investments, our trust." I scanned the pages, my heart sinking. The legal jargon was a maze, but the intent was clear. Everything James owned stayed his. If we divorced, I'd get nothing, not the penthouse we'd live in, not a dime of his ventures. Victoria leaned forward, her voice like ice. "This is James's empire, Sophie. You'll walk away with nothing if it doesn't work out. Common sense, really." The words hit like a slap. I looked at James, expecting him to protest, but he stared at the floor, mumbling, "I was going to tell you." My throat tightened. "You knew about this and didn't warn me?" Richard cut in. "The invitations are out. but arrangements can be adjusted if necessary. The threat was clear: sign or the wedding's off. I felt trapped, my love for James warring with my self-respect. "I need time," I said, my voice shaking. Victoria's smile didn't reach her eyes. "Of course, dear, but we'll need it signed before the wedding." In the car, I unleashed my fury. "How could you blindside me like this, 3 weeks before our wedding?" James gripped the wheel. "It's just a formality, Sophie, to protect the family. It doesn't mean anything about us." "Doesn't mean anything?" I laughed, bitter. "Your mother just told me I'd leave with nothing." "That's personal." He sighed, exasperated. "You're overreacting. This is standard for families like mine." Families like his. The divide yawned wider, a chasm I couldn't bridge. That night, I holed up in my apartment, tears streaming, as I called Maya, a lawyer I could afford. She reviewed the prenup and frowned. "This is a financial cage, Sophie. It protects James completely while leaving you exposed." I pushed for changes: an infidelity clause, shared property rights. But James resisted, saying his parents would never agree. After days of tense negotiations, I signed a revised version with minor concessions, the infidelity clause my only victory. As I scrawled my name, Victoria's smug nod burned into me. They thought they'd won. The wedding was a spectacle. 300 guests, a string quartet, a gown that cost more than my car. All Victoria's choices. I walked down the aisle, James's smile anchoring me, but the prenup's shadow loomed. Our Fiji honeymoon was a dream, his love washing away my doubts. But back in Austin, we moved into his penthouse, another asset locked in his name. Victoria's visits began immediately, her critiques of my tech gadgets and cluttered decor relentless. "Carter homes have a certain elegance," she'd say, rearranging my bookshelves. Richard was no better, pushing me to quit cybersecurity for a respectable corporate role. James, once my champion, started echoing them, complaining about my late nights debugging code. At galas, his friends treated me like a novelty, asking if I hacked for fun. James never corrected them, his silence cutting deeper each time. Then came the call that changed everything. A Boston lawyer, Evelyn Grant, reached out during a frantic shift at Quantum Tech. "Sophie Martin, you're the sole beneficiary of Clara Martin's estate. $25 million, 0 cents in stocks, properties, and cash." My great-aunt Clara, a recluse I'd met once, had struck gold in tech investments. I was stunned, the phone nearly slipping from my hand. I told James, expecting joy, but his excitement was different, calculated. "This is huge, Sophie. We could buy that Aspen Lodge Dad mentioned." Victoria called the next day, her tone syrupy. "Let's do lunch, dear, just us girls." Richard offered to guide my wealth, his investment plans suspiciously tied to his firm. Their sudden warmth reeked of opportunism, and doubt crept in. Was James's love real, or was I now just a pry? Then the threats escalated. My apartment was ransacked, my work laptop with Zenith's data stolen. The police called it a burglary, but I knew better. At the wedding venue, a chandelier crashed inches from me, the staff whispering about faulty wiring. I followed James one night, my instincts screaming, and caught him with his ex Olivia at a hotel. The betrayal gutted me, his 6-month affair predating my inheritance. "It was a mistake," he pleaded, but the truth was clear. I was never his equal. Now, as I sit in my apartment, divorce papers drafted and my inheritance secured, I'm ready to fight. The Carters underestimated me, but they're about to learn who Sophie Martin really is, who's behind the brake lines, the theft, the chandelier, and what will James do when I flip his empire upside down? The Austin skyline flickered outside my temporary loft, its lights a mocking contrast to the storm raging inside me. I was Sophie Martin, a 30-year-old cybersecurity analyst who'd been blindsided by my fiancé James Carter's family with a prenup that branded me an outsider in their gilded Dallas empire. Victoria Carter's venomous words, "This is James's empire, and you'll walk away with nothing," had cut deep. But James's 6-month affair with his ex Olivia had shattered my heart. A $25 million 0-cents inheritance from my great-aunt Clara had shifted the power, but the dangers piling up, cut brake lines, a crashed chandelier, a ransacked apartment, a masked pursuer, and a chilling email with a photo of me sleeping screamed that someone wanted me gone. My phone buzzed with an email from Elena, my boss at Quantum Tech. Zenith's CEO is furious about the leaked data. Boardroom 8 a.m. tomorrow, or we lose the $10 million 0-cents contract. My career, my safety, my future, everything teetered on the edge, and I was done being the Carters' pawn. I'd fled James's prenup-protected penthouse, my life packed into cardboard boxes, divorce papers drafted with my lawyer, Ethan, leveraging the infidelity clause I'd fought for. That clause was my lifeline, potentially unlocking half the penthouse and James's investments, but the Carters were circling like vultures. Victorious gala rumors painted me as a gold digger, threatening my reputation, while the escalating threats, brake lines, a stolen laptop, that eerie email, hinted at a conspiracy far beyond a family feud. Was it the Carters, Zenith's rival Apex Dynamics, or a darker player? I poured a black coffee, my hands trembling, and opened my laptop, determined to save my career and unmask my enemies. My first call was to Lauren, my financial advisor, who'd secured my $25 million 0-cents in ironclad trusts. "You're a target now, Sophie," she warned, her voice sharp. "This kind of wealth draws snakes. Keep your accounts locked and your moves quiet." I nodded, though she couldn't see me, my mind replaying the threatening email. Drop Zenith or lose everything. The photo of me sleeping, taken inside my old apartment, sent chills down my spine. Someone had breached my sanctuary. I emailed Mia, my Quantum Tech assistant. "Pull the server logs. Trace the leak's source. Check for Apex or Carter connections. If I could link the laptop theft to the threats, I might unravel this web." At 3 a.m., my phone rang. Chloe, my private investigator, her voice low and urgent. "Sophie, Olivia's not just James's ex. She's a fixer for Apex Dynamics, meeting Richard Carter weekly at his real estate firm." And I found a burner phone from the Alley attack, tied to a shell company under Apex's umbrella. My heart sank. Was Richard using Olivia to sabotage me, protecting his empire? Or was Apex targeting Zenith through me? "Follow the money," I told Chloe. "Check if Richard's firm funded the break job or the break-in." The pieces were forming a puzzle, but the picture was still blurry. Dangerous Situation 6. At dawn, my loft's security alarm blared, red lights flashing chaos. I grabbed a kitchen knife, my heart pounding, and checked the cameras. Nothing but static, the system jammed. Footsteps thudded outside, heavy and deliberate. I dialed 911, whispering my address as a shadow flickered past my window. The police arrived, finding a crowbar mark on the doorframe, but no suspect. "Could be a glitch," the officer said, but the precision screamed intent. This was no random break-in. It was tied to the Zenith leak or my divorce, and I was running out of safe spaces. I headed to Quantum Tech, my suit crisp but my nerves frayed. Elena met me at the elevator, her face grim. "Zenith CEO Marcus Reed is in the boardroom. He's talking lawsuits over the leaked data. Fix this, Sophie, or you're off the account." I clutched my rebuilt presentation, pieced together from backups after my laptop was stolen. In the boardroom, Marcus's glare was like a blade. "Your breach cost us millions in stock value, Sophie. Why should we trust Quantum Tech?" Derek, my smug rival analyst, smirked from the corner, ready to steal my role. I stood tall, channeling the grit my Boise parents instilled. Because I've traced the leak's entry point and built a patch to lock Apex out for good. I launched into my plan, detailing fortified encryption and a PR campaign to spin the breach as a proactive win. Marcus leaned forward, intrigued, but Derek cut in. Sophie's personal drama's a liability. I can take over. Elena's eyes met mine. Nail this, or you're done. Pressure point 6, mid-presentation. Mia slipped me a note. Leaks IP traces to a Dallas cafe linked to Apex Dynamics. Possible Zenith insider. Check CFO Vanessa Holt. My pulse spiked. Was Vanessa feeding Apex my data to tank the contract? Was she tied to Olivia or Richard? I kept my composure, wrapping the patch with a promise to deliver the patch in 24 hours. Marcus nodded. One shot, Sophie. Don't blow it. I texted James. Penthouse, 7 p.m. We talk. His reply was instant. I'll be there. I love you. I scoffed. The photos of him with Olivia burned into my mind. I called Chloe. James wants to meet. Tail him today and dig into Vanessa Holt's financials. She agreed, promising to track their moves. I needed answers. Did James know about the threats, or was he a pawn in his family's game? Dangerous situation. 7. Driving to a coffee shop to work on the Zenith patch, a black SUV rammed my car's side, nearly forcing me off a bridge. The driver, masked, sped off as I swerved, tires screeching, my heart in my throat. I called 911, my hands shaking, but the SUV vanished into traffic. Chloe texted, SUV's plates match a vehicle at Apex's office yesterday, registered to a Carter subsidiary. My stomach churned. Richard's firm was in deep, and I was their target. At the coffee shop, I coded feverishly, rebuilding Zenith's firewalls. My phone buzzed. A voicemail from Victoria, her voice dripping venom. Sophie, you're making a grave mistake fighting us. The Carters always win. I deleted it. Her gala rumors echoing, her lies that I was a gold digger could tank my credibility with Quantum Tech's clients. I pushed through, my fingers flying, determined to save the contract. Pressure point 7. Elena called as I worked. Apex is pitching Zenith tomorrow, undercutting us. Your patch better be flawless or Derek's taking your promotion. I gritted my teeth. Derek had been circling my role for months, and losing Zenith would hand him my career. I worked through the night, fueled by energy drinks and fury, my parents' Boise wisdom anchoring me. You're tougher than their money, Dad had said. I clung to that, coding until dawn. Dangerous situation. 8 p.m., my laptop froze, a ransomware message flashing. Pay $1 million 0 cents or Zenith's data hits the dark web. My cybersecurity skills kicked in. I traced the attack to a server linked to Apex, isolating the malware before it spread. The message mentioned Carter assets. Was Richard funding this to scare me off the divorce? I saved my work, but the threat lingered, a noose tightening. I met James at the penthouse, my nerves on edge. He looked haggard, his charm faded. I screwed up, Sophie, he said, eyes pleading. Olivia was a mistake, let's fix us. I held up my phone, showing the affair photos. 6 months, James, before my inheritance, and the break lines, the break-in, the ransomware. His face paled. I don't know about those, I swear. His fear seemed genuine, but I didn't trust it. Sign the divorce papers, or this goes public, I said, leaving him stunned. Pressure point 8. Chloe called with a bombshell. Vanessa Holt's been wiring money to Olivia's account, funneled through Richard's shell company. They're planning a Zenith Apex merger, and your leak could derail it. My mind raced. Was Vanessa framing me to save her deal? I'd told Chloe to track their communications, suspecting a deeper conspiracy. Dangerous situation 9. Leaving my loft for Quantum Tech, a hooded figure lunged from the stairwell, a knife glinting. I dodged, my self-defense training kicking in, and sprinted to a crowded street, losing them. Police found a burner phone nearby tied to Richard's firm. The Carters were desperate, and I was their obstacle. At Quantum Tech, I delivered the Zenith patch, locking Apex out of their systems. Marcus shook my hand. Impressive, Sophie. You've got our trust. For now. But Alina pulled me aside. Apex claims you sabotaged them deliberately. Prove them wrong or we're sued. I nodded, my evidence mounting. Server logs, Chloe's reports, bank trails. Pressure .9. Victoria text. Her tone icy. You're destroying our family, Sophie. Drop the divorce or face consequences. Her gallow lies had spread, risking my partnerships with Quantum Tech's clients. I called my parents, needing their grounding. You're stronger than their millions, Mom said. Their support fueled me. Dangerous situation. 10. That night my loft's power cut, and a gas smell filled the air. I grabbed my laptop and bolted, calling 911 as I hit the street. Firefighters found a tampered gas line, no accident. Chloe traced a payment to a contractor linked to Richard's firm. The Carters were playing for keeps, and I was out of time. I invited the Carters to their Dallas estate, divorce papers ready. Victoria's smile was forced, Richard's glare lethal, James broken. We're family, Richard began. Let's resolve this. I slid the papers forward. James's affair voids the prenup. I'm taking half the penthouse and investments. Victoria gasped. Richard blustered, but my evidence, photos, texts, Chloe's reports, was airtight. Fight me, and it's public, I said. James signed, his hands shaking. You're nothing, Victoria hissed. I stood, my voice steady. I'm everything you underestimated. Walking out, the Dallas stars above, I was free. My $25 million, 0 cents secure, my career soaring. I launched a foundation, empowering tech education for underserved kids. The Carters settled quietly, their empire bruised. I was Sophie Martin, unbreakable, rewriting my story. Was Richard the mastermind behind the threats? Or is Apex CEO pulling bigger strings? Did Olivia seduce James to sabotage my career, or was she Richard's weapon? Will the Carters retaliate, or will their empire crack under public scrutiny? Can my wealth mend my Boise family's view, or deepen their envy? What secrets does Vanessa Holt hold, and will she come for me next? What's next for Sophie? Share your thoughts below and your own stories of triumph. Like and subscribe. You won't want to miss what's coming.